Witam serdecznie. Przed nami 20 materiał. Troszeczkę zaczynamy z innego miejsca, ale jak widzicie mamy 44 000 dusz, które sobie teraz wydamy, żeby się nie zmarnowały. I zaraz zaczniemy z tego miejsca, w którym skończyliśmy odcinek 19. Teraz tak, co tu wbić? Siła, zręczność, czy może zdrowie? Wytrzymałość plus 5. No coraz mniejsze te bonusy, niestety. Tutaj mamy plus 20 do pancerza, mnożnik łupów i mnożnik efektów alchemicznych. Oczywiście tutaj możemy wbić sobie jeszcze odporności, ale ja wezmę sobie zręczność. O, plus 2 do ataku. Dawaj zręczność, bijemy. Ok, więcej hajsu nie mam. Tutaj tego nie ulepszymy. Broń można by było ulepszyć, ale nie mamy 7500 esencji dusz, aczkolwiek, poczekajcie, bo jak wejdziemy w ekwipunek, to tutaj mamy trochę tych, ale wiecie co, ja może nie będę na razie tego korzystał. Bo nie wydaje mi się, żebyśmy uzbierali tyle. Dobra, mniejsza z tym. Śmigamy. Wiecie co, ja tutaj postaram się za bardzo nie walczyć. Tam jest taki jegomość. On by mi dał dosyć dużo punktów, ale mniejsza z tym. Ok, zaczynamy z tego miejsca. To znaczy skończyliśmy w tym budynku. Tutaj jeszcze przeoczyłem jedną rzecz. Moduł trwałej niemocy drugiego stopnia. A, pozmieniałem sobie troszeczkę. Wziąłem sobie moduł tarczy alchemicznej pierwszego stopnia. Powiem Wam, że te moduły, które mam z trzeciego poziomu, jakoś powiem Wam, w żaden sposób mi nie pomagają. Kurczę, no. Ten moduł, który miałem założony, tarczy alchemicznej, zwróćcie uwagę, że daje nam tutaj, chociaż nie widzicie tego, bo mam zasłaniam, plus 5 do odporności na ogień, mróz i błyskawice, więc fajna sprawa. Myślę, że ktoś idzie w naszą stronę. A tutaj zdobyłem moduł jeszcze, zobaczmy. Trwałej niemocy. Moduł umiarkowanie zwiększa czas trwania efektów alchemicznych u przeciwników. Czyli de facto podpalenie, obrażenia od mrozu i tak dalej. W sumie to nawet nie jest takie głupie. Nie wiem, czy mam z pierwszego poziomu też taką. Mam. Moduł nieznacznie zwiększa czas trwania. Nieznacznie, a tutaj? Umiarkowanie, ok. Ale mniejsza z tym. Dobra, lecimy. Czekajcie, jak się tam wchodziło? Tutaj, dobra. Cyk. I tu też żeśmy skończyli. Dobra, ruszamy dalej. Będziemy musieli przekroczyć ten kanał. Zaczekajcie, po co ja tutaj? Aha, wiecie co, ja tutaj chyba byłem, już sprawdzałem wszystko. Tu możemy jeszcze się wspiąć. Teraz tak, tutaj mamy gościa. Automatona do pokonania. Cholera. Kurde, 357 tylko tych punktów zdobyłem. Czasami te tekstury się doczytują, widać. Pływać nasza postać nie potrafi, więc od razu mówię, że Jak wejdziemy do wody, to zginę. Tutaj musimy przeskoczyć, ale jeszcze zanim tam wejdziemy, to tutaj jeszcze coś zostało. Esencja szlachetnego ducha. I kute żelazo 2 sztuki. Super. Jak sobie z kolei klikniemy dziennik, to tutaj mamy znajdź jeźdźców i wyzwól plac Invalidów. Pałac Invalidów, widzicie? Mamy lokację nową. Ale gra jest naprawdę fantastyczna. O proszę, tutaj mamy jedno przejście. Kolejna fiolka, a tam mamy westalkę, super. Okej. Nie da się tego zniszczyć.
The debt was no longer sustainable, Your Majesty. Your mechanical revolution has changed the face of the kingdom, but the coffers are woefully empty.
The debt, Monsieur Necker. This debt that you and your banking friends helped to create for your own benefit, and which is now forcing us to levy new taxes. Will my subjects be able to bear another tax?
Yes, Your Majesty, as long as it is distributed fairly. The representatives of the nobility, the clergy, and the Third Estate must come to an agreement. That is why we have convened the Estates General. Tomorrow you are to preside over the opening ceremonies.
Your Estates General. Nothing good can come of it. You have roused the spirit of rebellion. All I hear about are their damned cahiers de doléances. My rightful enjoyment is being challenged. The streets of Versailles are teeming with loudmouth fanatics with sacrilegious thoughts. Tell me, Monsieur le Ministre, have you purposely set this army of the unwashed against me?
Your Majesty, I have always been your most faithful servant.
Beware, Necker. Beware. I have a surprise in store for anyone who dares attack my throne.
Śmierć dla nas ma przygotowaną. O, mamy parę okularów. Znaleziona na dziedzińcu przed Pałacem Inwalidów para okularów z grubymi szkłami noszonych do czytania przez osoby o słabym wzroku. Wizji Aegis ujawniła, że należy do ministra Neckera, który wypadł z łask króla Ludwika XVI. Dobrze, że tu się odwróciłem, bo bym to przeoczył jeszcze. Aha. Kurczę, wiecie co, mamy 3 oliwiarki tylko. Wiecie, ja sobie tutaj wezmę. A, mam to. Granat ogniowy, ale wiecie co, jak będziemy walczyć z bossem, to weźmy sobie to. Wyposaż. Dobra, bo to czuję, że będziemy walczyć z bossem. Wyzwól Pałac Inwalidów. O cholera jasna. Ja cię pierdzielę. I kuźwa, co to za bydło? Shit. O kuźwa. Ale banalny przeciwnik, ja pierdolę. O kurde, o kurde. Mamy mu forę, co? Ale banał. Ale banał, ja pierdzielę. Myślę, że jakiś patch, update wejdzie, który troszeczkę utrudni tutaj walkę z bossami, bo...
Oh no, this has to stop. I don't want to be tormented anymore.
That is not my intention. I have come to rescue you.
Rescue me? But what on earth are you?
It is of no importance.
Dobra, zanim się ocknął.
What did you see and hear before you regained consciousness?
I had frightful visions, rageful wraiths filled with pain and sorrow, and it was cold enough to curdle the blood. It's impossible to describe. All the rage and anger. I was in another body, I think. So big, so powerful. And there was this commanding voice, ordering me to spread terror and death. Did I really hear it? Or did I momentarily lose my mind?
Who are you, monsieur?
Don't you know? I'm Jacques Necker, Ministre des Finances. Well, I was before I was captured. But this situation suggests that the king has decided to dismiss me from his service.
What does he accuse you of?
My alleged connivance with the Third Estate, no doubt. And most of all, for having been the first to ask to convene the Estates General.
How and when were you captured?
When the machines attacked, my wife and I fled our home to hide not far from there, in the Église Sainte-Marie. But we didn't stand a chance against the machines. They overran the nave, wantonly mowing down the faithful. My wife, my poor wife, she wasn't able to escape. I'm sadly convinced of this. As for me, my life was spared only so I could be tormented. What is the meaning of all this?
Dobra, pojawiła się nowa opcja.
What will you do now?
There is no future for me in this kingdom. I need to find a safe place where I can prepare for my departure as soon as possible.
I will take you to the Cordelier convent. You will be safe there.
Ej, kurde, nie mówcie, że się przenosimy tam, a tutaj cała ta okolica, w której byliśmy. I będę musiał się cofnąć.
À la bonne heure, she's back.
Aegis, what a joy and relief to see you again.
Monsieur,
Welcome to our stronghold. I'm sure that everyone here is aware of the great debt we all owe you. As you can see, the most exhausted among us are growing stronger.
While the most determined are already planning our counterattack.
I did not expect to see you all together.
4 days ago, the representatives of the Third Estate gathered in a tennis court. They swore not to separate until they had established a constitution for the nation. But that was not the only oath we swore. All the honorable men who were at Versailles, representatives and patriots, members of the Club Breton, secretly swore to meet here if they were dispersed.
You, Aegis, have allowed them to gather once again. Though unfortunately many are missing, we still have hope.
Why did you choose to meet in this convent?
It was my idea. Voyez-vous, I stay here whenever my obligations bring me to Paris. No other retreat inspires such peace and contemplation. Et puis, truth be told, this building has always felt like a fortress to me. Just look at how thick these walls are.
For 2 whole days, the patriots in the quarter consolidated the outer walls to make it an impenetrable citadel. No automat has broken through our defenses yet.
Where are the monks, mon père?
They are secluded in their quarters, praying for the salvation of the people of Paris. However, we bear no illusions. We are weak, we are divided.
And we are unarmed. Without you, without your warrior strength, we have no chance of turning things around.
You are sent by heaven above, Aegis. From now on, you may consider the Cordelia Convent your headquarters and a welcome refuge.
We must speak, you and I, in private, if you please. Monsieur de Lafayette must not hear a word of what I'm about to tell you.
What do you mean? You all seem to be certain that I will use my strengths to serve your cause. Are you forgetting that I have a task to accomplish?
Not at all, madame. We all know and support your plan to free Monsieur de Vaucanson. That is why I've taken the time to think of a way for you to get to the Bastille.
I am listening.
There is a patriot in Paris whose pamphlets have aroused Monsieur de Lafayette's ire. His anger is so strong that the poor man had to disappear to escape arrest. I know that he is secretly hiding in the quarries in Montmartre. A labyrinth he is said to know like the back of his hand. If anyone can help you navigate the obstacles that keep you from the Bastille, it is the elusive Monsieur Marat.
Very well. I will go and find him.
Kurcze pieczone. Jakieś kamieniołomy jeszcze przed nami. Labirynt. Wiecie co, ja jeszcze muszę się wrócić na sekundę do...
I owe you my life, madame. So I am embarrassed to ask you for anything more.
Do not fear. You have my full attention.
Suzanne, my beloved wife. I cannot bring myself to accept her death. Despite all the evidence, I still hope to see her alive again. I need to be sure. Mon Dieu. What have I done to deserve such a fate? Why has the king sworn to destroy me? And all that I hold dear. After everything I've done for him. My abnegation.
Why would the king owe you anything?
I dedicated my life to the kingdom as his minister. Well, my life and my fortune as well. I refused to accept any remuneration for my services in order to keep the accounts balanced. And I personally filled the king's coffers with 2.5 million livres from my own private accounts. Bonds in the Caisse d'Escompte, which the king keeps in a tailor-made armoire d'affaires in the Palais des Tuileries. He stores all his secrets there. I'd wager there's enough in there to sully his reputation 100 times over. You must retrieve these bonds post-haste, madame. They must not be used to allow this madman to build more murderous automats.
Do I have any chance of opening it?
Don't even think about it, madame. Despite your incredible strength, that safe is said to be impenetrable. It was designed precisely to that effect. I personally never had access to it. I suppose that its contents were too unofficial for the honest minister that I always was.
Who has the key?
The king does, that's for sure.
Anyone else?
How could I know? His shadow advisors, most likely. Now that I think about it, there's a rumor that has been going round Versailles for a while now. It's said that Monsieur de Mirabeau used to come and go as he pleased at the Tuileries, that he oversaw diplomatic missions for the crown. Not in any official capacity, of course. Who knows? He might know more about this matter than I do.
I will ask him.
Matko i córko, powiem wam, że jakieś kolejne zadanie chyba się pojawiło.
I will look into what happened to your wife.
Bless you, madame.
Where should I start my investigation?
In the Faubourg Saint-Germain, east of les Invalides. We were separated in the Église Sainte-Marie, on Rue de Bourgogne.
I shall be off.
You are the only hope of seeing my beloved wife again, and of foiling the plans of the clockwork tyrant.
Matko i córko. 2 skarby misje Neckera. La Belle Gabrielle, 25 kwietnia 89 rok. Do markiza de Lafayette. Mój drogi mężu, zgodnie z ustaleniami przyjęłam dziś rano Messiera, dyrektora ogrodu botanicznego. Po długiej podróży był niestety w bardzo kiepskiej kondycji. Przed wydaniem swojej opinii chciał jednak koniecznie obejrzeć plantację. Stwierdził, że gleba jest doskonała i zlecił posadzenie 500 młodych goździkowców. Należy zbudować także drabiny do zbiorów oraz postawić suszarnie i magazyny. Przekaż mi jak najszybciej, czy zgadzasz się na powyższe postanowienia. Tęsknię za tobą i z całego serca pragnę znów zobaczyć cię na tym odległym lądzie, który jest nam tak drogi. Adrienne. Wiecie co?
Monsieur Necker.
Madame? Eh bien, do you come bearing good news?
Aha,
I'm
czekajcie.
not done investigating yet.
Don't give up, I beg you. Remember, the last time I saw my poor wife, we were in the Église Sainte-Marie on Rue de Bourgogne. That's in the Faubourg Saint-Germain, east of les Invalides. As for the bonds, you'll find them in the Armoire de Fer, in the Palais des Tuileries.
Matko i córko, czekajcie, bo ja nie chciałem z nim za bardzo rozmawiać. Po pierwsze tak, to sobie tegujemy, zostawimy jakiegoś bossa. Teraz tak, pojawiły się nam nowe zadania. 2 skarby misje Neckera. Kolejne zadanie się pojawiło. Za żadne zadania żeśmy nie ukończyli, jeśli chodzi o zadania poboczne. Jeśli chodzi o zadania główne, to mamy to tak: w salonie królowej, władca maszyn, trudne chwile w poszukiwaniu opata Gregoria, cienie Pałacu Luksemburskiego, w drogę do les Invalides. Nie wiem, jaka tu jest kolejność wykonywania tych zadań, tego wam nie powiem. Teraz tak, tutaj jeszcze chyba porozmawiamy z wszystkimi po kolei.
Monsieur le Marquis.
I'm listening, Aegis.
I went to the meeting point you indicated. I had an unexpected encounter there.
Get to the facts. Who did you meet there?
Madame de Polignac, the Queen's favorite. She made no secret of her reason for being in that desolate place. So now I know all about the precious cargo that is the cause of your great concern.
Seigneur. The children. What happened? Tell me that nothing bad has happened to them.
That remains to be determined. One thing is certain. Charlotte and the young Dauphin are missing. The evidence points to an ambush by the Duc d'Orléans' men. They apparently attacked the wagon the children were hiding in.
How the hell did they know?
This ambush could not have taken place without an accomplice. You were betrayed.
A plague on Orléans and his damned informants. They have taken the children.
That still remains to be seen. It seems that the Duke's men were interrupted while carrying out their task. 3 of them lost their lives. A 4th was able to escape.
Excellent. I bet it was my hussars who sent the vermin running. But why the hell haven't they reported to me yet?
Only they could tell you that.
Would you be so kind as to go and find them? The lives of these poor children hang in the balance. My hussars are stationed at les Invalides. That's from where they were to set off for Gros Caillou.
I went to the meeting point you indicated. I had an unexpected encounter there.
2 razy
Get
to
to the
samo.
facts. Who did you meet there?
She made no sense.
What happened?
That 3.
But why the... Which my hussar...
Goodbye, Monsieur.
Przepraszam, że drugi raz to kliknąłem. Poczekajcie, tutaj żeśmy porozmawiali. Tutaj jeszcze coś jest, jakiś dokument nowy. Do ojca Gregoria, ksiądz parafii Embermenil. Montpellier. Reguły zakonne zabraniają nam mieszać się do spraw świeckich. Tylko dzięki modlitwie będziemy w stanie ocalić dusze tych, których nasz łaskawy Stwórca postanowił wezwać do siebie. Powierzam Ci relikwiarz naszego bractwa i modlę się, abyś razem z szukającymi u Ciebie schronienia w refektarzu naszego klasztoru uchronił go przed zagładą, która może na nas spaść. Niechaj Bóg ma Cię w swojej opiece, ojciec Etienne, opat zakonu braci mniejszych obserwatorów. Wszystkie te dokumenty zbieramy.
Aegis, A word, s'il vous plaît.
Czekajcie, bo jeszcze gość chce z nami porozmawiać. Opad.
Aegis, I'd like to talk to you about my research. Do you have a few moments to spare for me?
Certainly, mon père. I am listening.
I've carefully collected the testimony of our companions here. Then I compared them with the observations made during my investigation of the man who calls himself Cagliostro. I came to quite the shocking conclusion. I believe I have discovered how the royal automats remain constantly in motion, like clocks that never need winding. They get their energy from the souls of the dead, Aegis. They drink from the anima essence that permeates the purgatory described by Monseigneur de la Fare. These machines feed on the dead. The greater the massacre, the deeper the river where they slake their thirst.
Masakra.
Is there any way to stop the bloodshed, mon père?
I believe there is always hope, Aegis. As long as I remain free to pursue my research, I will never lose faith. I keep thinking about the three Nemes. These echoes. All of this is clearly related to Nicholas Flamel's work.
The alchemist?
Precisely, mon ami. And this leads me to fear the worst.
What have we to fear from an alchemist who died nearly 4 centuries ago?
Not him, per se. Rather the heretic who is exploiting his discoveries. This poses a grave danger to us all.
What do you fear, mon père?
What do I fear? Nearly 2 months ago, the king forbade anyone from setting foot inside the Église Saint-Jacques de la Boucherie, near the Hôtel de Ville. He had the priests forcibly removed. They hardly even had time to save the church's sacred relics. Since then, only our Father in heaven knows what they've been doing there, hidden away from the people of Paris.
Oh dear. Flamel's tomb.
My thoughts exactly, Monseigneur. Legend has it that Flamel was buried with his lapis philosophorum.
What is the lapis philosophorum, mon père?
The Philosopher's Stone. Where do I begin? No one knows its true nature, or even what it might look like. All that is known is that it is said to grant untold riches and eternal life to whoever possesses it. Its very existence is questioned, of course. But if it's true, just imagine what sinister purpose the king and his accomplices might find for it. We must elucidate this matter at any cost.
Where is this tomb?
In the church's crypt. The priests always ensured that it remained undisturbed, despite the mystery surrounding it. But now they're no longer there to protect it. We need to know for certain.
But how? There are automats everywhere.
Aegis,
Oui, mon père.
will you help us get to the bottom of this?
Did you not say that it was impossible to enter the church?
There is perhaps a solution. The penitent's door behind the Châtelet leads to the quartier de l'Hôtel de Ville. It's only opened on Good Friday, but this year, I had the honor and good fortune to lead the procession. Here is the key.
Klucz do bramy pokutników. Wejdź do krypty Nicolasa Flamela.
Goodbye, mon père.
Matko i córko, kolejne zadanie żeśmy otrzymali z tego co widzę. Ja pierdzielę. Ostatnia wędrówka Nicolasa Flamela. Aegis musi odnaleźć kryptę Nicolasa. Grobowiec znajduje się na cmentarzu w kościele Saint-Just de la Boucherie w kwartale Hôtel de Ville na wschód od Châtelet. Matko i córko. Okej. Sporo się w tym odcinku dzieje. Dużo zadań wpadło.
My respects, Monseigneur.
I didn't expect to see you again so soon, Aegis. We missed you when we had to leave our shelter at Place Saint-Merry. The path that led us to this convent was not an easy one, believe me.
Goodbye, Monseigneur.
Na szczęście
Allez en paix, Aegis.
nie ma dla nas kolejnego zadania. Ten jeszcze chciał z nami porozmawiać. Julien Raymond.
Monsieur Raymond.
Aegis, we are very pleased to see you again. It was very unwise of us to leave the Société without such a capable bodyguard as yourself. It is a miracle that we got here safely.
What do you want to talk to me about?
Have you ever heard of the Club de Massiac, Aegis?
No, monsieur.
It's an association that meets at the Hôtel de Massiac, just west of Les Halles. It counts some of the wealthiest plantation owners in the Empire. Those from Saint-Domingue and the Petite Santé are most formidable adversaries. They are waging a war of influence to keep the slave trade going, and resort to the vilest methods to achieve their ends. They worship nothing but money, and their greed is matched only by their cruelty. Regrettably, my interests occasionally require me to suffer their company. 2 months ago, I was in Le Havre to settle some business with the Admiralty, when I overheard a conversation between 2 planters from Bastère. If they are to be believed, the Club de Massiac is plotting to create sleepless slaves, des esclaves sans sommeil. Those were their exact words. It's hard to say what this could possibly mean, but I fear they plan to administer some foul drug to their slaves to force them to toil day and night, without rest. Our organization will not let these poor souls endure such a hell. Aegis, we must look into this. It is a matter of great urgency.
You speak of greed, Monsieur Raymond. But could you enlighten us as to what makes you any different from the planters you condemn?
What exactly do you accuse me of, Monsieur de Robespierre? S'il vous plaît, do tell.
Do you not also exploit the labor of these poor souls yourself on your indigo plantation?
I fight every minute of every day to improve their condition. No one would have the audacity to deny this.
If that's the case, then why wait? Free them. You preach abolition, yet you continue to line your pockets at their expense. The truth is, you refuse to upend the established colonial order because your entire fortune depends on it.
It's easy to criticize from atop Mount Olympus, Maximilian. You know nothing of the realities of Saint-Domingue. What would happen to all these people if I freed them tomorrow? Without an education, without a livelihood, I would be condemning them to the most abject misery. No. I must act with both compassion and realism.
Any reform, revolutionary or not, must be taken step by step, with moderation and prudence.
This reform is not so difficult. I've begun it myself at La Belle Gabrielle, my plantation in Guyane. There you will not find slaves, but workers who earn a weekly wage. And my plantation is no less profitable.
Ah, yes, profit. Because that's the most important thing. Don't you see, the law of nature gives every man the right to cultivate his own land.
Monsieur, calm yourselves. I implore you. Now is no time to quarrel. What Monsieur Raymond has related to us is extremely worrying. We must find out more about this plot to create sleepless slaves as quickly as possible. Aegis, you are the only one who stands a chance of making it to the Hôtel de Massiac alive.
Ja pierdziu, kolejne zadanie bez snu. Czekajcie, bo ja już nie wiem, z kim rozmawiam, a z kim nie, bo się wszyscy tutaj poprzemieszczali. Z Queen na San Domingo. Jeżeli Bóg pozwoli, ten list dotrze do Ciebie przed rozpoczęciem obrad Stanów Generalnych. Zachęcamy Cię do wygłoszenia płomiennej przemowy w Wersalu, w której nie ograniczysz się jedynie do kwestii rolniczych. Musimy głośno zaprotestować z powodu braku własnych deputowanych, a żądania białych deputowanych nie mogą stanowić dla nas prawa. Bądź stanowczy i walcz z pogardą, jaką dla nas mają. Warto, abyś pomówił z Monsieur Neckerem. Jego poczynania emanują humanitaryzmem i wskazują, że jest to człowiek wrażliwy na niedolę innych. Bywaj i pozostań w dobrym zdrowiu. Twój przyjaciel i brat Francis Raymond.
Did you go to the Hotel de Massiac?
No, not yet.
Remember, it's by Les Halles, just west of the Marché des Innocents.
O matko.
What is the aim of this organization?
We publish articles and exert our influence on those who are in a position to improve the lot of our unfortunate brethren. Our numbers grow by the day, and we have many illustrious members, such as the Comte de Mirabeau and the Marquis de Lafayette. But it was Monsieur Brissot and the abbot that founded the group.
Good old Brissot. Shouldn't he be here by now?
Yes, mon père. He should have arrived hours ago. Alas, there's been no sign of him.
I hope to God that no misfortune has befallen him.
What fate does the kingdom reserve for those with black skin?
According to tradition, any enslaved person who sets foot on French soil is freed.
This rule is most problematic in the eyes of planters in the colonies, who would seek to maintain their precious labor force.
This is why, for the past 12 years, no black people have been allowed to disembark in any of the kingdom's ports. Those who accompany their masters on the journey are imprisoned in the Admiralty's jails the moment they leave the ship. As for those who manage to evade the authorities, they live in fear of the raids carried out by the Marshalsea.
Are you not subject to these laws, Monsieur Raymond?
I am fortunate enough to have been born a subject of the king through my father, and also to have received an education, and to be wealthy.
Naturally, that makes all the difference.
You are quite a long way from home, Monsieur Raymond.
I haven't been back to Saint-Domingue in nearly 5 years. I left my most trusted men in charge of overseeing my indigo plantation. I came to France with the aim of having an audience with the king. I hoped to convince him to use his automats for agricultural work. I was of the belief that this was the best way to ease the suffering of our enslaved brethren. Alas, it was all for naught. I was only able to get an audience with the Minister of the Navy, and even that was granted reluctantly. Later, when the king convened the Estates General, my hopes were renewed. I saw it as an opportunity to make our voices heard. And then, mon Dieu, what a disaster, Aegis. What a complete disaster.
Wiecie, to chyba już żeśmy słyszeli.
See you later, perhaps.
Matko i córko. Tutaj jeszcze są... Matko, no nie wierzę. Aż mi się nie chce z wszystkimi rozmawiać.
Monsieur de Mirabeau. Minister Necker claims that you are a familiar face at the Tuileries Palace.
That old story. Will it hound me until I have drawn my last breath? This, madame, is nothing but an unfounded rumor that I am trying in vain to dispel. To what do I owe the displeasure of having to defend myself once again?
I must get hold of some documents that are kept in an armored safe in the king's chambers.
What luck could resist your talents?
Minister Necker said it was indestructible.
Oh, I see. Well, let me think. Who could help you? After all, a lock is nothing more than a simple mechanism. Nothing that can resist the expertise of our dear Monsieur Bailly. Why don't you ask him for help?
I'll be sure to do so.
Now, who else might be of use? Oh, there's Monsieur Lavoisier as well, our gunpowder commissioner. I'm sure he'll have no trouble finding you something you can use to blow the door off that stubborn safe.
Good. I will go and find him.
Now, if you'll forgive me, I have an urgent matter to attend to.
You are forgiven for everything.
In that case, it has been a pleasure, madam.
Poproś o radę hrabiego de Mirabeau. Pomów z Monsieur Baylerem i Monsieur Lavoisierem. Okej. Matko i córko.
Eh bien. Do you come bearing news from Monsieur Marat?
No, not yet.
I have it on good authority that he is in the quarries in Montmartre. He's the only person who could show you a way to reach the Bastille. Don't forget.
Is your plan to arm the populace going as planned?
Oh, far from it, madame. The situation is hopeless. Even if they were armed and formed into battalions, the Patriots would not be able to fight.
Why is that?
Most of the strategic points in the city are inaccessible. A strange illness strikes all who try. They are seized by an irrational fear, one so great that those who do not lose consciousness go mad or perish on the spot. This makes it impossible to do anything. Any attempt at an uprising is a fool's errand.
The locations you mentioned share a common feature. A statue holding a lantern.
That's right. From what little I could make out, they appear to be depictions of a Vestal Virgin watching over the sacred fire.
Une lanterne des morts.
What do you mean, monsieur?
Lanterns of the dead. Ancient stone pillars that are found near some cemeteries. Our ancestors kept a fire going on top of them. Today, no one knows what they were used for. A symbol of light triumphing over darkness, perhaps? Others claim that human bones, mercury and lime, were burnt there. Some odious sorcery that was meant to entrap the tormented souls that wandered around the burial grounds.
That makes sense and confirms my observations. I'm now certain that the King's lanterns capture the anima essence of the dead who have been cast into purgatory. And that this essence is what allows the automats to stay in motion, without needing a key to wind them.
Pater noster qui es in celis, sanctificetur nomen tuum.
Now that I think about it, madame, you obviously are not subject to the harmful effects of these lanterns.
No, au contraire. When activated, these statues reveal an apparatus that allows me to repair myself.
It follows that if you destroy these lanterns, the people will be free to fight again.
Unfortunately, they are preternaturally strong. Nothing can so much as damage them.
Come now, no metal is indestructible. If we knew what these lanterns were made of, perhaps I could find a way to destroy them.
Where should I start looking?
Start by poking around the factories near Monsieur de Vaucanson's workshop. That's where the automats were forged. I'd wager the lanterns were made there as well.
Ej, kurczę, kolejne zadanie wpadło. Ja cię pierdziu.
Were you present when the Estates General was dissolved?
Oui, madame. I had a front row seat. I witnessed what it cost to defy the crown. We laid bare before the king the abject misery of his subjects. It was more than he could suffer. So he had the people's representatives dispersed by means of bayonets. At least we only had to contend with soldiers made of flesh and blood. Positively angelic compared to the machines that have swept through Paris.
Goodbye, Monsieur de Robespierre.
Dobra, wiecie co? Jeszcze tutaj został nam liścik. Ale już nie będę go czytał. Jeżeli chcecie, to zróbcie to sami. Tutaj została nam jeszcze jedna, nie, dwie osoby.
Monsieur Bailly.
Ah, mademoiselle. I am very pleased to find you here with us within the shelter of these walls.
I found a document written in a script that I was unable to read.
Let me see. Ah, je vois. These pages were written using some sort of shorthand. A variation on Taylor's system, no doubt. I'm wont to use it myself from time to time while jotting down my ideas as they come.
What does it say?
It's a bit difficult to decipher. Je crois. I believe it's an autopsy report. The author writes that the subject died from a large dose of prussic acid.
What is prussic acid?
My apologies, Aegis, but I'm no chemist. You should ask Monsieur Lavoisier.
Matko, ku pamięci delfina, odszyfruj notatki. Dowiedz się więcej o kwasie pruskim.
I'm looking for a way to force a lock that is supposed to be unbreakable. Monsieur de Mirabeau advised me to ask you for help.
But I'm an astronomer, mon enfant, not a locksmith. I know my way around lenses, filters, racks and tripods. But I've never given a moment's thought to how a lock works. God, Monsieur de Mirabeau was joking with you, that's all. Où est-il, ce brave homme, so that we might ask him?
He has left. A matter that could not wait.
Excuse me? Do you mean he left the convent? That's madness. What was so important that he would put himself in such danger?
Intriguing indeed.
Ja cię pierdziu. Patrzcie, co tu się dzieje teraz. Matko i córko. Te zadania ku pamięci delfina i pochodzenia to, jak mówiłem, już kilka razy są z nami od początku chyba. W tym momencie pojawiły nam się kolejne zadania. Zadań pobocznych nie wykonaliśmy jeszcze ani jednego. No nic, co mniejsza z tym. Co tu się pojawiło? Klucz do bramy pokutników, ostrzałka do piór. Czekajcie, jeszcze raz pogadajmy z nim.
How was your search at the Vaucansons' home?
I found this penknife there. I was struck with a vision as soon as I picked it up. I saw Mademoiselle de Vaucanson running from the Comte de Cagliostro. This letter refers to a hiding place where she often sought refuge. It's in the Jardin du Luxembourg.
I know the place. One day, Eugène and I were walking in the Luxembourg gardens when suddenly Athénaïs jumped out from our hiding place like a wild animal. It was a startling, almost frightening sight. The spot is on the edge of the garden, hidden by vegetation between two statues.
Goodbye, Monsieur B.
Dobra, jeszcze jedna osoba została.
Monsieur Lavoisier.
What can I do for you, Aegis?
What is prussic acid?
It's a volatile compound extracted from Prussian blue, which is a pigment derived from the cochineal, an insect.
What does it do?
Oh, it's a lethal poison, of the most dangerous sort. Though at weaker doses, it merely induces a deep soporific state, or a coma, if you will.
A deadly poison.
Aegis, Is everything all right?
Co się ze mną dzieje? Dowiecie więcej o kwasie pruskim, poinformuj królową o swoich odkryciach.
I would like to access the contents of a safe that is supposedly unbreakable. Dare I ask for your help, Monsieur Lavoisier?
And how can I be of assistance to you, madame?
I need gunpowder to break through the door.
Gunpowder? But I don't have a speck of it, mon ami. Do you think I just walk around with explosives in my pockets?
Oh. I apologize. It was Monsieur de Mirabeau's idea.
Mirabeau? What is this ridiculousness? I suspect he knows full well whatever he's playing at. Where is the animal? So we can ask him what's truly going on.
He has left. He had an urgent matter to attend to.
Eh bien, I'm sorry, madame. If I could inspect the safe and determine what metal was used in its fabrication, I might be able to find a solution. But given the circumstances, I'm sadly not in a position to help you.
I understand.
Shit, konieczne kroki. Pomów z Monsieur Bailey, Monsieur, okej.
How do you intend to counter the king's actions?
Unfortunately, we don't have the upper hand. For now, we can only hope to protect ourselves from him. I am convinced that something is afoot. Something that could destroy all our hopes in an instant.
You have my full attention.
You should know that I am a gunpowder commissioner. As such, I oversee the provision of gunpowder to the kingdom's arsenals, l'Arsenal de Paris in particular. For the past 2 days, a large quantity of gunpowder from Marsangy has been sitting near les Invalides. It's in a warehouse by the factories, but the men I sent to take possession of the cargo and transport it to the Arsenal have gone missing. Do you realize what this means?
The gunpowder could have fallen into our enemy's hands.
It's possible. One thing is certain. It's enough to destroy half of Paris. Whether it is still in the warehouse or has fallen into the wrong hands, we must find it urgently. Then, if possible, we must neutralize it.
How?
Simply by placing it in contact with water. Nothing could be easier in theory, but we must find a way to flood it.
Flood the gunpowder? You're out of your mind, Lavoisier. We're in the most desperate of situations, and you want to deprive us of such a valuable resource. What will our cannons use once we have formed our army of patriots?
Your army, Marquis, is presently but a figment of your imagination.
I see. So you're one of those men who would sound the retreat before the battle has even begun.
I will go to the warehouse. Once I have located the powder, I will decide what to do with it. Goodbye, Monsieur Lavoisier.
Śladami prochu idę się do magazynu, w którym przechowywany jest proch. 2. Skarby Monsieur Neckera. Przyjrzyj się bliżej żelaznemu sejfowi. Ja pierdziu. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 zadań, moi drodzy, mamy. 6 kluczy.
Monsieur Lavoisier.
What can I do for you, Aegis?
I did not find the warehouse.
Vraiment? It's near les Invalides, not far from Monsieur de Vaucanson's workshop.
Goodbye, Monsieur Lavoisier.
Dobra, tu wszystko.
Have you located Athenais' hiding place?
No, not yet.
Look carefully. Remember, it's on the edge of the garden, between 2 statues, hidden amongst the plants.
Goodbye, Monsieur B.
Dobra, tu wszystko. Co to za światło? To taka kryjówka, w której, kurczę, wszystkie ważne postacie się spotkały i kierują naszymi poczynaniami.
I haven't met him yet.
He is your only chance to reach the back. He's holed up.
Goodbye, Monsieur de...
Dobra, wiecie co, generalnie będziemy kończyć. Wyjdźmy w ogóle stąd.
Has anyone seen Monsieur de Mirabeau?
I zaraz zobaczymy jedną rzecz tutaj. Jak ruszymy w podróż. Korespondencja. Wasza Wysokość, dołączam kopię raportu z autopsji, który został sporządzony przez doktora Lemeniera. Przedstawiono w nim okoliczności śmierci waszego najstarszego syna, a także dowody winy waszego królewskiego małżonka. Czekajcie, dałem... A, to daliśmy wyślij, tak? Ulepszenia. To nie. I damy podróż. Nowa lokacja. Ja pierdzielę. Patrzcie, w każdej tej lokacji mamy jakieś misje. Czekajcie, jak wyjdę w ogóle stąd i klikniemy tutaj sobie w dzienni, w kompas. Znajdź kryjówkę Atenis. Zaczekaj na dalszy rozwój. Kurde. Aby odnaleźć się tajemniczego misję Marata, Egis musi wejść do tuneli kopalnianych w Montmartre. Powiem wam, że nie wiadomo za co się kurde złapać. Tu mam jakąś kryjówkę. Ja się chyba wrócę tutaj jeszcze na sekundę, żeby nie zapomnieć. Do Las Invalides. Znajdź jeźdźców, odkryj skład stopu, udaj się do magazynu, w którym przechowywany jest proch. Zbadaj kościół Saint-Marie. To już tu mamy wszystkie te. Przeszukać pałac Masanik. Ok. Ja się tu przyniosę na sekundkę. Znaczy na sekundkę. Tu się przeniesiemy i wrócimy tutaj do tego miejsca, w którym gra nas przyniosła z powrotem do klasztoru, bo tutaj jeszcze... Mordeczki. Mordeczki, to byłoby na tyle w tym odcinku. Kończymy odcinek, bo już nie mamy czasu. Tutaj muszę znaleźć jeszcze jeźdźców. Tutaj mamy zbadaj kościół. Udaj się do magazynu, w którym przechowany jest proch. Odkryj skład stopu. Także roboty tu mamy. Także to wszystko dzięki za grę. Strzała.